to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at a fragrance again that was sent to me by a friend to have a look at, to have a play with, to give an opinion on. And we're going to be looking at a 2014 release from MiN, New York. Now, Barrel, I have the sample here which I'm wearing, and again I will be having a spray of it in a minute. It's part of a 2014 collection that was released called the Scent Stories, which I believe were 11 fragrances. I think MiN New York came around in 2014 as well. Interestingly, they were set up as a luxury lifestyle brand more than a straight perfumer, so fragrances aren't just the only thing that they do. The brainchild behind MiN New York, please forgive my pronunciation, is a chap called Chad Moravchik, I think. So if you're watching this, Chad, and I've murdered your surname, I do apologise. The nose behind it is Julien Rasquinet, a bit of a stalwart of the fragrance game, and certainly someone who's very well known. He's worked with Juicebox, he's worked with St. Dupont, he's worked with Van Cleef & Arpels, Histoire de Parfum, Masque Milano, and very recently with Frederic Malle on their fairly recent release called The Moon. Now, I'll tell you what, let's have a little spray. I am wearing it as always, well, nearly always. So it gives you a sign actually that if I like the fragrance, if I'm wearing it, and I'm certainly wearing this one. Oh, so let's have a look. Okay, I'll give it a spray. Let's give it a minute to calm down. And then what we can do is we can also have a look at the notes. So the notes with this, you have spices, dirt, tannin, absinthe, coriander, pink pepper, rum, myrrh, orange blossom, tuberose, oak, oak moss, leather, vanilla, patchouli, and vetiver. So, as you can see, quite a lot going on there. So, I suppose the important thing is, how does it smell? Well, first and foremost, the opening is very, very powerful. It's quite dramatic and it makes a heck of a statement. Rum seems to dominate the opening. And when I first got the sample, I sprayed it and thought, hang on a second, this really reminds me of something. It reminds me of this. But obviously, you know, I've reviewed Bentley Intense before, and it's a niche smelling fragrance that can be had for such little amount of money. I was kind of hoping that they'll be very similar, because this would be such a cheap way of getting into Barrel. But unfortunately, it's just the rum opening that they share. Other than that, they don't smell very similar at all. There are some interesting notes in this, and as we've been through, but one of the things that I did really focus in on that's really, really apparent to me is the tuberose. The tuberose comes across really powerfully, and it's a note I love. I'm a big fan of Nasumoto's Narcotic V. That's a tuberose bomb. And the tuberose it doesn't overly dominate this proceeding, but it is really, really, really apparent. Now, this is also quite interesting because I think tuberose is a note that Mr. Rasquinet really enjoys, because he did work in 2012 with Pierre Boudin for Judith Williams, and they released a fragrance called Hypnotic Tuberose. So obviously it's a note that he enjoys, and it's a note that he likes. Funnily enough, when I read about this online, the tuberose doesn't seem to get such a mention, but to me, I can't really come away from the tuberose. I really pick up on it. The absinthe is in there, but I think with absinthe, when it's in most fragrances, it's the wormwood that you smell, not actually the absinthe itself. Absinthe is a very strong spirit that gained notoriety for sending people mad and making people see in green. But it's wormwood is the active ingredient within absinthe that I think in Barrel they're extracting that wormwood note for the fragrance, which sits together with the rum to give it an incredibly boozy affair. Leather comes into this. The pink pepper it's quite a peppery blast to start off with, but that kind of dies off, and then I'm not entirely sure what to look for when I'm trying to find dirt. There is an earthiness to it, so I'm assuming that that's where the dirt comes into it, this sort of earthy note. Coriander to me does make an appearance, but again it's not dominant, and neither's the myrrh. The orange blossom obviously gives it sweetness. Now tuberose to me is quite sweet anyway, so I think pairing the orange blossom and the tuberose together does give a sweet sensation, because ultimately at its heart this is a leathery, woody, boozy fragrance with the florals to lift it, to stop it becoming something like Bentley Intense. It's a lot more complicated than Bentley. It's a lot more And I really like Bentley, so please don't take this the wrong way. Bentley's a staple of my sort of rotation, but this is a bit more interesting. This is an excellent product. The performance on this is stellar. It opens very, very loudly. The projection is pretty massive, and the sillage is excellent. It leaves such a beautiful trail as you know waltz around with this trail of fragrance behind you. It's excellent. Longevity is very, very good as well. This is way beyond average. You know, this lasts all day. My main criticism with it is all the exciting stuff is very much in the top. So for your first couple of hours, this is where it's at its best. It calms down. It's pleasant throughout. It's a lovely wear. And I really do like it. The boozy rum is always good fun in a fragrance. I quite like a boozy frag, and you know, like with Bentley, you get that sort of pirate-esque feel. This isn't Pirates of the Caribbean. This is a lot more classy than Pirates of the Caribbean. This is like the Doily Carte Opera doing a Pirates of Penzance kind of presentation. This is at the high class end of the theatrical, what's the word I'm looking for? The theatrical sort of connotation of this fragrance. This is more theatre than screen, as it were. It's a really lovely fragrance, and I think they've done a fantastic job with it. My only gripe, well, two gripes. Firstly, it's a top-loaded fragrance, so all the interesting stuff for me seems to happen at the beginning. As it goes through its long life, it becomes slightly smoky, and it just becomes kind of like another slightly boozy, woody affair, of which there are quite a few on the market. And the other issue that I have with this, and I know it's a luxury brand and they're selling a luxury product, I think Chad himself said the world doesn't need more products, the world needs better products. And to a degree, I get that. And I know this isn't going to be pitched for everybody because of the cost. This, I think, I've only seen this on sale at Harrods, and this was £220 for 75 mils. So, I mean, that's a big ticket for a small amount of juice. So, for that and that alone, I would never buy this. If I was to spend £220 on a fragrance, there are a lot more out there that I'll be more interested in owning. But please don't let that detract. You know, this is a financial restriction for me. I wouldn't spend that money on a 75ml bottle unless it was godlike. And this to me is very good, but it's not godlike. I enjoy wearing it and I've loved the sample. I'm going to send this up to Rich so he can have a go of it as well, because I think he would really like it. But it's just so expensive for what it is. It's a clever bit of perfumery, it's a nice bit of perfumery, but it doesn't set my world on fire. Not enough to make that kind of financial commitment to owning it anyway. So I strongly recommend you try it. I think the 11 other fragrances in the Scent Stories range from MiN New York are probably going to be interesting. So again, I will slowly chip my way through them and report back with my findings. But for me, 2014 release Barrel is a very clever bit of perfumery. It's very nice. It doesn't completely blow me away. I think there's more interesting fragrances out there in that world, because ultimately when you strip it down, the tuberose is nice, all the other ingredients, all the other notes, all the other accords in there make a very interesting fragrance. But as I say, when you strip it down, we are effectively a boozy, leathery, woody fragrance. Quite masculine leaning. Again, I'm pretty sure a confident woman will be happy to wear this. And if you're buying, I suppose maybe I'm missing the point here actually. Maybe this is expensive because it is a luxury item, and if you're buying into that luxury lifestyle, then this may be for you. I'm not entirely sure. For me, it's a no. I'll not be taking it any further because of cost, and I think there's probably more exciting things out there on the market. But it's a very good perfume and it smells lovely. So take it of that what you will. As always, thank you very much for your time. It's really appreciated, and plenty more videos coming, so don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. So thanks very much, and bye!